was Hagen Koch, the young pioneer at Dresden, who was now a member of the expanding Ministry of State Security, known as the Stasi.
In the
afternoon, we reached the border crossing at Checkpoint Charlie. I was ordered to paint a thick white line on the street at that border crossing point. I stood with one leg in the west and the other in the east, and my assignment was to show the evil, and I repeat, evil people in the west, so far and no further. Capitalism is over there, and here is socialism. I painted that line and was still firmly convinced that that border would avoid a Third World War and help to maintain peace. Many people were against it. I was not the only person who was for it.
Growing up behind the wall were these schoolchildren in the village of Golzow. They were about to become the subject of a long-term television project. Winfried Jährschel was the youngest child in his class.
They built
a new rural school, brand new and impressive. It was an East German film, and an East German film was always a propaganda film. They obviously wanted to communicate the message that a small village has a brand new school and all the children are happy.
I
remember that the questions at school became more probing, such as what does the Sandman look like? They wanted to see what programs we were watching at home. During the early years, they imprisoned people when they watched television from the West. Our antenna was always pointed towards the West.
The
teacher tried to find out if people were watching television from the West.
East Germany was an atheist state, but Marie-Louise came from a religious family.
We were 6 children, and my parents worked on the collective farm. I was a Protestant. I wasn't one of the young pioneers who all wore the same neckerchief. Nevertheless, I was allowed to sing in the choir. I wore my private clothes. We were made to feel that religion had no place at school.
Winfried wanted to be an inventor and was of a practical, inquiring nature.
Auch während der Studienzeit uns die ganzen Lehren von Marx, Lenin.
We learned a lot about the political theories of Marx and Lenin.
Jeder nach seinen Bedürfnissen sollte jeder leben, und ich habe dann in der Schule auch als Kind öfter mal gefragt, wie das da läuft.
Once I asked my teacher, when does the real communism start? Real communism without money. The teacher was obviously as smart as I was and said that we would succeed in trading without money sometime after the millennium.
Da wird das Geld abgeschafft, ja, und als Kind.
As an ignorant child, I thought that's fantastic.
Prima, weil ich habe nicht gleich anders gedacht.
Heute brennt die Sonne ganz erbarmungslos.
On that path from socialism to the communist millennium lay East Germany's version of the swinging 60s. Singers like Frank Scherbel, dubbed East Germany's Cliff Richard, were sometimes told by the party what to sing.
Heute bin ich wieder da, heute beim Party-Twist.
Dazu kam noch, dass ich bei der Armee.
At the time I was in the army, and there was a song, Girl in Front of the Barrack Gate, Will You Wait For Me, and I'll ask you to go out with me today, which I hadn't sung because it was too stupid. I feared for my career because I didn't know what kind of songs they would make me sing. Because I didn't sing Girl in Front of the Barrack Gate, I was demoted and had to spend 2 days in prison.
Ich wurde degradiert, Schulterstücke abgerissen.
This musical, a kind of East Side Story, starring Frank, was officially sanctioned.
It was the party that decided to create a distraction for the people. They took West Side Story as their model.
Frank's co-star and then wife, Chris Dirk, misses much about East Germany.
Art and culture had a much higher value placed on them. In East Germany, singers weren't a commodity. Today, singers are a commodity that has to be bought and sold. There are many things I miss.
Chris Dirk enjoyed socialist life behind the wall.
I didn't lead a bad life, and I have to say that the Berlin Wall didn't really disturb me. And it makes me angry when East Germany is often reduced to Stasi and I don't know what. Sometimes I have a feeling that they think we lived in clay huts.
Most East Germans, like Jürgen Hartwig, the baby in the 1950s home movies, conform to what the state required of them. Here he attends his Jugendweihe, a secular coming-of-age ceremony for 14-year-olds introduced by the communists. Despite appearances, however, Jürgen was no communist.
I was actually West-orientated. I was interested in beat music. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones. It was clear I wasn't a socialistically orientated person who would wear a blue shirt for the free German youth. I started wondering how to make it to the West. I tried to escape through Hungary in 1973, but things went wrong and I was sent to prison for 2 years.
By the late 1970s, disillusion with the reality of life in East Germany was spreading.
This is my farewell video. I was 19, had just passed my A-levels and going into military service. It was a real rite of passage. This is my room in Dresden, in my parents' house. All the posters of my ideals, my dreams, all these were shattered.
Learning the truth about the Warsaw Pact's invasion of Czechoslovakia, which had happened a decade earlier, was a defining moment.
This is footage from East German TV of some of our tanks, like the ones that advanced into Czechoslovakia in 1968. I actually remember being there, aged 10, looking at the tanks leaving for Prague, and I remember winking at one of the soldiers. But when I joined the army, I realized what they had done, and I felt angry and betrayed.
Such feelings could only be expressed privately. The public face of East Germany promoted the economic and scientific achievements of real existing socialism.
Space exploration and the achievements of the Soviet cosmonauts were reflected in the Sandman. They had something to do with the belief in progress. It was believed that communism would also be established in space. Obviously, it was used to make socialism appear victorious.
The day before that space mission, former Golzo schoolgirl Marie-Louise married Stefan, an army pilot and party member. Despite her religious background, she is committed to the workers' and peasant state.
I thought of East Germany as my country. I